Combine all those big narratives really catapult the last bull run cycle. From now, if we have 2 years, what are the next big narratives, right? And we have to see, okay, where are developers going, right? So the big narratives we're looking at here at Tokenmetrics. Okay, in 2 years, what are going to be the big narratives? And typically it's sort of the same narratives, but you also have some new narratives. If we study history, the big narratives in the past cycles were we had DeFi summer, and then we had NFTs. And with each bull run, there was a big narrative that was initially started by a big catalyst. So for DeFi summer, DeFi 1.0, I would say the big catalyst was essentially Uniswap and DEXs, right? Because in the past, we had all these other DEXs that weren't so good. Ether Delta, for those of you who know 2016, 2017 days, and the AMM, Automated Market Maker. That was a 0-to-1 innovation and improvement that basically began DeFi summer, the first DeFi summer. And that began the first bull run. I would also say Compound, basically doing airdrops and basically introducing yield farming was also a huge catalyst. That was also a 0-to-1 improvement. So those two began the first bull run. And you basically had all these forks, all these food forks, right? You had sushi, you had farm, yam, all this. Right, that was the first, I think, big catalyst, big narrative to really take off. You heard Yearn Finance YFI launch with a big airdrop that made people a lot of money. Then after a while, that kind of petered out. Then things cooled off for a bit. Then you had DeFi Summer, DeFi 2.0 again. And this time, the 0-to-1 innovation of the big narrative were Olympus DAO. Right? And basically protocol-owned liquidity. That was a big narrative. Then you had all these other protocols, layer 1 blockchains that were EVM compatible, right? EVM layer 1s, like Avalanche. Basically, they began forking Olympus DAO and creating their own protocol-owned liquidity. So you had Time Wonderland and Avalanche really taking off. So that was the other DeFi summer. And somewhere in the middle of that, you also had other DeFi projects doing well, like Synthetics, SNX. But that was more so in the bear market leading up to DeFi summer. And then for NFTs, the big catalysts were you had OpenSea really take off, right? A marketplace that was more accessible to retail and just crypto users in general to purchase, to buy, sell, and trade NFTs. I think that was a big catalyst. And then you also had Bored Apes, became the first NFT to really break away and take off. You had others like Etherox and others, right? So I think those were the big narratives. So we have DeFi 1.0, DeFi 2.0, and we had NFT. Combine all those big narratives really catapult the last bull run cycle. I would also even add in other L1s. There are always new shiny L1s coming into the market. So you had Solana, like they did almost 1,000x basically. Right? You had Polygon, Helium, and lots of other projects. But I think the big winners were Solana becoming a top 10 market cap project from private sale or ICO. For those of you who got in early under $1, it went up to I think like $250. And then some people in private sale got in under $1, of course. From now, if we have 2 years, what are the next big narratives, right? And we have to see, okay, where are developers going, right? So the big narratives we're looking at here at Tokenmetrics, definitely be sure to follow us at tokenmetrics.com, join, create a free account, get on the newsletter. And if you have a paid plan, definitely join me for the premium webinar that happens on Wednesdays. But the big narratives I'm looking at are basically looking at developer activity and reports. What's trending is Move programming language. So we're looking at, okay, what in the Move ecosystem could be big? And people in crypto always want new shiny L1s. So the big ones right now that are Move compatible would be Sui and Aptos. I could see them potentially being kind of like Solana. But with that being said, I think they've already launched at a very high valuation. I think the big narratives are, there will always, every cycle there's always a new shiny L1 that does well, and even a new shiny L2 that does well. So those historically are undefeated. Every bull run, there's an L1, L2 that does 100x or more. Right? So I would have to have one of those in my portfolio, right? Me personally, that I think has a low valuation. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we have even more content for you at Tokenmetrics. Get there using the link down below.